Ella, come watch your parents' rehearsal. We need your notes.
Mom, I'm watching TV.
Don't be stupid, Ella. I'm so much better than anything you can see on TV.
Hi, I'm Ella from Indiana, and I have the most embarrassing parents in the world. You don't believe me? See for yourself. But before that, please like and subscribe because MSA will give $1,000 to one lucky person who subscribes in the next 7 days. Ever since I can remember, my parents were obsessed with the idea of being famous movie stars, and they'd turn every single thing into a production.
Baby, are you ready for your first day of school?
Mom, why are you dressed like an octopus?
Oh, honey, we want to promote our new movie, Henry Potter and the Octopus Queen, at your school. All your friends and teachers will be so impressed.
Impressed? Everyone was making fun of me as I made my way to my class with my parents looking like cartoons. And the movie they were talking about was the one they'd made themselves, just like all the others, and it was terrible. This was the reason why growing up, I'd never let any of my friends come over. Even on my birthdays, I'd beg my parents not to throw me any parties. But once in 8th grade, my friend Maddie invited me to her birthday party, and Mom and Dad dropped me at her place. But instead of driving away, they parked and got out too. Why are you guys getting out?
We're here for the party, of course.
No, please do not tell me you're going to perform. Only they did. They went onto the stage and started acting out their latest play. And then to my horror, a random kid pointed and yelled, "Hey Ella, aren't those your parents?" What? Of course not. I've never seen those people in my life. Yes, they are. Why don't you go up there and join the circus freaks? A bunch of kids pushed me onto the stage and started laughing, but my parents kept on with their act and didn't even care how they were embarrassing me. I stormed out of there in anger, and that day, I decided I'd had enough. You guys are just making fools of yourself by acting this way, and you're making me miserable.
Ella, why can't you be supportive of our career?
Don't you understand? You're never gonna get famous like this. If you really wanted to make it, you'd be in Hollywood, not this dumb town. I didn't expect my speech to make a difference since they never listened to me. But this time, they did.
Ella, you've convinced us. You're brilliant. We're moving to LA.
Are you serious? Heck, they were, and I couldn't believe it. This was actually a good thing. I was so happy we were finally leaving this place, and I could start a new life. When it was time to go to my new high school, my mom placed a uniform in front of me. What's this?
You're going to a private school.
But we can't afford it.
This is a business investment, Ella. We found a school where all the famous people send their kids, and if you become friends with them, we'll become famous too. Connections are everything, darling.
It's not my job to make you guys famous. Please don't interfere in my life here.
What an ungrateful child. What will you say when we become more successful than you ever dreamt of?
I did go to the private school, but thankfully they didn't make a scene when I got out of the car on my first day. I was barely through the door of my class when suddenly I was ambushed by some students. Hi, I'm Kira. What's your name? I'm Ella. So, Ella, what do your parents do for a living? Suddenly, all eyes were on me, like this was the last winning question of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I freaked out. They're movie stars. Wow, that's so cool. My mom's a director, and I'm sure they must have worked together. So, like, you're Ella Clooney, Ella Downey Jr., Ella Cruz? Tell me their names. You haven't heard from them. They're from Spain. That's why we're here, actually, to expand the American market. That's awesome. Your American accent is so good. How do you speak such good English? Jesus, who was she? Some investigating officer? I had to change the topic. My mom's American. My dad's the one from Spain. Hey, who's that? That's my brother, Johnny. He's like the most wanted guy in school. If you want, I can introduce him to you. He was her brother? He was so freaking hot. She called him and he came waving at me in the most adorable way. Hi, Johnny. What's your name? Wow, that was brilliant. genius.
Wow, you're pretty and funny.
Funny? Phew. Johnny, her parents are famous movie stars from Spain, so much cooler than ours. OMG, my lie was going places now. But what was I supposed to do? Someone was actually talking to me on my first day, and the only reason they showed interest in me is because she thought my parents were cool. That day, I had so much fun hanging with Kira and Johnny. I finally had friends. Later when I went home, I felt kinda guilty about lying. So I decided that I was gonna tell them the truth. But the very next day at school, kids were going crazy around me. Apparently, Kira had told everyone how my parents were huge Spanish movie stars, and now everyone wanted to meet them. Holy Jesus! I ran to the washroom to get away from their questions for a while. Just then, I heard someone crying in one of the cubicles. Hi, are you okay in there? What happened? Suddenly, the door flew open, and a girl who looked like she had been crying a lot just pushed past me and ran away. That was weird. Later, I had a chemistry lab class, and everyone had to work in pairs. That's when I saw the girl from the washroom sitting all by herself, looking kinda sad. Hey, can I sit here? She nodded, and I sat down next to her, and she told me her name was May. So, May, will you tell me why you were crying earlier? First, she hesitated, but then she told me everything. I'm the only one here without a famous or super rich family. That's why everyone is always picking on me. Especially Kira, she's the worst. Wow, I had no idea Kira was a bully. I felt really bad for May, and I wanted to tell her I was just like her. But I decided it was best not to tell the truth to anyone. I didn't want to be bullied like her too. We did the experiment and got along really well. She was the sweetest person I'd ever met. That was so much fun. Maybe we can get some pizza after school today? I was about to say yes when suddenly Kira came and locked her arms with mine. No thanks. Ella's got better friends, so why would she waste time with a nobody like you? Saying that, she pulled me away with her. And even though I wanted to push her off and walk back towards May, I just couldn't. At this school, people like Kira ate people like me and May for breakfast. I just saved you from being friends with a loser. You're so lucky to have me. Hey, that's really mean. You're welcome. Later, she took me to her house, and there was a huge pool where Johnny was swimming like a mermaid. My jaw immediately dropped, but before I knew it, I was suddenly pushed into the pool. Kira, what was that? Chill out, Ella. I was just having fun. What if I didn't know how to swim? Oh, right. That slipped my mind.
Hey, Ella, ignore my sister. She's a little crazy. But look at you. Wow, you look just as gorgeous in the water as you do in the sun.
God, my heart skipped a beat as he came closer. But just then, Kira jumped into the water and ruined the moment. You know what? I've got a great idea. Seeing you with that loser girl, what's her name again? February, March, something, May? Yeah, whatever. Let's prank her.
Why?
'Cause it's funny, and she's a loser, and no one will care. She'll care.
Why do you want to bother her?
What's your problem? You, Kira. I wanted to say that to her face, but just then Johnny spoke up and asked her to stop being a brat. At least he was nice. A few days later, I was on my way to the chemistry lab when I saw Kira standing outside with her minions and giggling. What's going on? Shh, come here and look. See that flask in May's hand? It's gonna blast in her face as soon as she puts the chemical into it. And why would it do that? Because we switched the chemicals. Don't worry, it won't kill her. It'll just be funny. God, she was such a devil. I immediately ran in and flicked the chemical flask away from May's hand. Ella, what was that? Are you okay? Oh, yeah, totally. I just slipped. And I'm really sorry about Kira the other day. Do you want to grab some pizza after school? I would love to. Kira glared at me with devilish eyes, and after class, she walked up to me and whispered, "You ditched me for this garbage? Now get ready to be loaded into the same garbage truck with her, Ella." Kira's threat was creepy, but I was done with these superficial people. I started hanging out with May, and for the first time, I had a good friend. She cared about me and not my parents or their status. Then one day while I was having lunch with May, Johnny came to me and apologized for Kira's behavior.
It's my birthday party, and I really want you to come, Ella.
I looked at May and she winked at me with a smile. But May comes with me too.
Sure, as long as you're there, the entire city is welcome.
We were really excited about the party and went shopping for some cute dresses. And when we got to the party, we were blown away. Almost everyone from school was there, and it was so grand. I saw Johnny dancing with some girls in the distance, but before I could go up to him, Kira came over to me. Hey, Ella. I'm glad you could make it to my little surprise party. Your surprise party? What are you talking about? Just then she pointed in the other direction, and my heart dropped when I saw Mom and Dad there. Oh my God, this was a nightmare. But Kira's loud voice was more than enough to tell me all of this was frickin' real. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves to everyone?
Oh, hi, y'all. We're Ella's parents, and we've come from Indiana to get our careers going.
Now, where are all the other famous parents? Everyone gasped and turned to me, even May. She looked so disappointed in me, and I had no one but myself to blame for this. Did you hear, everyone? These are Ella's parents, and they're not from Spain, and they're not big movie stars. They're just struggling losers, and Ella's a big fat liar. Yes, okay, I lied. Only because I wanted to make some friends, but it didn't take me too long to realize I was wrong, because lying can only get you fake, awful friends, like you, Kira. As everyone stared at me, I saw Johnny grinning too. Of course he was in on this. I couldn't stand to be there any longer and ran away. I didn't go to school for days. I felt so ashamed of my stupid lie, and I was afraid of how everyone was going to treat me. Until one day, May texted me and said she was going to be there with me no matter what, and that made me feel a little braver. I just had to face the music. Everyone in school was acting like I didn't even exist. But during recess, I was sitting with May in the cafeteria when a bunch of kids came running and gathered around me. Oh my God, was I about to get bullied?
Ella, I can't believe I saw your parents that day. Can you please send me their autographs?
Are you gonna work on another movie set? Gosh, you're so lucky. Take me with you. I'll do your homework for a year. What were they talking about? Just then, I noticed my phone was buzzing like crazy, and I had text messages from Mom.
Ella, we made it. We're famous. In your face.
I opened the news link she'd sent me and almost fainted. My parents, my actual parents, had both been cast in a highly anticipated superhero movie, and they were Hollywood's new breakthrough stars. Everyone was talking about them on social media. Just then Kira came running and hugged me. I'm so sorry we fought, bestie. Let's just forget all that. My mom is dying to meet your parents. And look, there's Johnny. And look, there's a garbage bin. Why don't you and your stupid brother jump in there? I pushed her away and put my arm through May's as we walked off. Ella, can I get a selfie with your parents? Of course. And tickets to the premiere and anything else you want, May.
Hi, I'm Mia from LA. Please like and subscribe. Growing up, it was just me and my mom, who was a famous photographer working for big brands and celebrities. So you'd think, with a photographer parent, I'd have a beautifully documented childhood. Well, you'd be wrong. I hardly had any pictures because Mom was always too busy. And I was raised by nannies. Sure, Mom gave me everything, but she couldn't make much time for me. She did try by setting up her studio at home, but once when she was in a meeting, I slipped into her darkroom and switched on the lights, and all her photos were destroyed. That nanny was fired, and Mom relocated her studio. And then she hired a lady named Susan, who was the coolest. Susan could play hide and seek with me for hours. She'd always let me do her makeup, and she even taught me how to slide down our main staircase. She'd pitch up a tent in our backyard, and then tell me stories around a fire. And what a storyteller she was. She'd just make up magical tales in the moment, and I was hooked. What are you thinking, you lily-livered, yellow-bellied scallywag? I was thinking you should be my mom. Susan laughed it off, but I was kinda serious. She even gifted me my first notebook when I turned 8 because she knew I loved writing stories, and that meant more to me than any of the presents Mom had sent. Yeah, she couldn't make it to my birthday. Once when I was 9, Susan had taken the day off, and I ended up being stuck with Mom at a photo shoot at some historical building. laughing.
Mom, I'm bored.
Read your book, Mia.
But I'm also hungry and sleepy.
Think of something fun to do for a little longer, okay?
Okay, but you better come find me soon.
Yeah, soon. So I skipped off to find an amazing hiding place. I thought it was clear to Mom that we were playing hide and seek. As I waited for her in my spot, I dozed off. And when I woke up, it was kinda dark. I tried to find my way back to Mom's chute, but I was totally lost. Luckily, a security guard found me and took me to the nearest police station. And the only number I knew by heart was Susan's. Sometime later, both Mom and Susan came running in, and I jumped straight into Susan's arms. Sweetie, you really scared your mom. Give her a hug. But I was so mad at her because she didn't come looking for me. Susan would have never let that happen. Soon after, in 5th grade, I came home from school one day to find a girl my age in the kitchen eating my cereal.
Who are you and why are you here? And who eats cereal for lunch? I eat what I want when I want. You're not my boss. Now shoo!
I was about to smack that thief in the face when Susan walked in, and she introduced the girl as Harper, her daughter. I didn't even know Susan had one, and I felt a pang of jealousy. Your mom has to travel out of town more often, so she's requested that I live here now, and I'm moving in with Harper. Isn't that great? I'm sure you two will get along wonderfully. I was certain that we would not.
She was a nuisance.
She threw away all my markers caps so they dried out, spilled juice all over my bed to make it look like pee, and gave my favorite shoes to a stray dog. But I only had to scream, and Susan would tell her off. Harper would tag along with us everywhere, and she'd glare at me and make comments under her breath when Susan was out of earshot.
If you don't stop annoying me, I'll tell Susan to make you leave. She's my mom. If I leave, she leaves with me.
Well, she likes me better.
As if your mom pays her to spend time with you. You're just a job to her.
I'd never really thought about it that way, but it was true. That didn't mean she loved me any less, did it? Soon enough, Mom got Harper into my school. I was the top student in class, but she replaced me quickly. Her mental math was faster, her science projects were more inventive, and her creativity had the English teacher gushing. Usually, the person with the best story would be selected to read theirs out loud every week, and now it was always her. And one day when I walked into the living room, I saw Harper on the sofa with her feet up, watching TV, and the sight boiled my blood. I just didn't want her here. It's time for my show. Please leave.
There's a TV in your mom's room. Watch it there. It's not your place to tell me what to do. What's that supposed to mean? I thought my mom was like family. That makes me family too, so deal with it.
I snapped and dumped her bowl of popcorn on her head. She pounced on me, and as I was pushing her off, I sent her crashing into a table, knocking off a huge vase. Susan came running in at the noise, and she went bonkers on Harper. How could you do this? You know better.
But Mom...
No, Harper, I told you. You had to be perfect. Do you want to go back to the way things were? You get to go to a great school and live in a nice place. But if you can't appreciate that, then we leave today. I'd never seen Susan so mad, and I didn't want her to quit. Also, I felt a little bad for Harper.
Wait, it was an accident. I tripped, and she was just helping me up.
Susan calmed down, and after that day, things started getting better between me and Harper. Once we both backed off from annoying each other, we realized that we actually had a lot in common, especially our love for writing. And over time, we became like siblings who were constantly competing and arguing over dumb things. But we certainly didn't hate each other anymore. By the time we reached high school, Mom had expanded her studios to several locations. She wanted me to take an interest in the business, and even though I pretended I didn't like tagging along, I actually loved the glamorous shoots and meeting celebrities. I even started hanging out with celebrity kids my age, and they were something else. They shopped in private malls and had front row tickets to every concert. And once, I went to a party with a giant indoor wave pool, which was awesome. I'd often invite Harper to join us, but she never seemed comfortable around them. One night, we were at a burger joint when they decided it would be fun to break into an amusement park at night and operate the rides. That sounds fun, right, Harper? No it doesn't. It sounds illegal. Don't be such a buzzkill. You only live once, girl. Unclench your butt cheeks. Mia, this is a bad idea, and Mom would never approve. Yeah, so we're not telling her. I'll just text Susan and say we're staying at a friend's tonight. No, I'm going home. What a loser. Let's go, Mia. We had a blast at the amusement park and even narrowly escaped when a security guard turned up. We almost peed our pants laughing as we drove away, and it was such a thrill. But Harper had a sour face the next day. Just spit it out. What's your problem with my friends? They're fun and perfectly nice people. They're not nice. Haven't you noticed their comments on my appearance? They're just giving you some friendly fashion advice. They're being condescending, Mia. And they're reckless, spoiled brats who are just used to their parents getting them whatever they want.
Okay, so my mom also gets me anything I want, Harp? Is that what you think of me too? No, of course not. It's different with you. But I caught Harper rolling her eyes when Mom got me a sports car for my 17th birthday. Also, when I got into a college business program without taking the entry test because Mom knew the dean. And she got really pissed when my friends were over one day and one of them knocked their drink over on Mia's laptop and fried it. Things were tense between us. But when I found out about a national story contest, I went straight to Harper with it, trying to get into her good books. Won't you be entering it yourself? Or maybe you can just win it anyway because your mom probably knows someone. Stop being so snarky. I haven't written something in ages, so no, I'm not entering. But you should, Harper. The winner even gets a scholarship to a great writing program. She finally agreed, and some weeks later she sent off her story. And then one day, she burst into my room excitedly. Mia, I won! Holy marbles, I actually won! What? The contest! Not only am I getting the scholarship, Mia, they want to turn my short story into a novel, and it's gonna be published. Can you imagine? Oh, thank you for convincing me to enter. Harper, that's amazing. I gotta tell Mom, she's gonna be so happy. I couldn't help feeling a little jealous, though. I'd always wanted to have a story published, and Harper was actually getting to do it. I pushed the thought away. I could do it someday, too, and I was happy for her. That is, till her book came out. It was my first time reading her script, and my heart started racing. I couldn't believe my eyes as I frantically skimmed through the pages. These were my stories. Not exactly word for word, but the main themes and so many ideas, they were mine. I stormed downstairs and shoved the book in Harper's face. You cheat! What? These are my ideas, Harper. You stole them from my notebooks. How could you stoop so low? Are you crazy? Why would I even look through your notebooks? Then how did my ideas magically appear in your story? 'Cause they're my ideas. But of course, you found a way to make it about yourself. You've always thought you're better than me because I'm just the help's daughter. Don't change the subject, witch. And I've loved Susan like my own mom. Yeah, and never thought about how you took all her time away from me. I was at home with my rotten grandma while Mom looked after your highness. Well, we were gonna leave after high school anyway, but now with my book deal, I'm sure I can take Mom away even faster. I always knew you were jealous of me, and I was right. Jealous of you? Oh, please. Why would I be jealous of someone whose mother can't be bothered to talk to her more than twice a month? Shut up, Harper. I never want to speak to you again. Fine by me. Susan was really upset when she found out about our fight, and she tried to make us talk, but I refused. I couldn't even look at Harper. And then one night, some reporters came to interview her at the house and asked her where she got her inspiration. Oh, my mom's always been a great storyteller. I wouldn't be here without her. You wouldn't be here without me, Harper. Hey, everyone, here's something you should. Harper attacked me, and suddenly we were fighting like wild cats till our moms pulled us apart. Mom asked the reporters to leave, and when I told her everything, she was livid. After everything I've done for you two, and this is how you repay me? Stealing ideas from my daughter and attacking her too? I want you both gone, now. It broke my heart to see Susan leave like this, but it was all her evil daughter's fault. It didn't make me feel better, though. I didn't even want to meet any of my friends. Then one night, Mom knocked on my door. Hey, sweetie, want to go out for dinner? I don't really feel like it, Mom. Do it for me anyway. I reluctantly agreed, and she took me to a small Italian restaurant. This is where your father and I came on our first date. You don't ever talk about him, Mom. You really don't talk to me at all. Your father was a photographer too. He got sick soon after I got pregnant with you. It was really hard for me to deal with his loss, and I just threw myself into work. Also, I always wanted to make sure I had enough to take care of you on my own, but I think I've let you down. What do you mean? I can see how much you miss Susan, and she's made you into the kind of person you are today, not me. It used to hurt my feelings when you preferred her as a kid, but I can't blame you. Is there anything I can do to make up for me not being there? Mom, I've always appreciated everything you've given me, but I think I just want your time now. Over the years, Mom and I grew closer, and I got more involved with her business. I'd see Harper on the news. She'd turned her novel into a trilogy and gained worldwide success. I tried to get over my bitterness, but I just couldn't forget the betrayal. Then one day, my assistant let in a visitor, and I was shocked to see Harper. What are you doing here? I don't want to see you. Please, Mia, just hear me out. She told me that Susan had fallen sick and had been in the hospital for months. My heart sank didn't get the news. She's recovering now, but she keeps asking to see you. Please, you should hear what she has to say. I put all my differences aside and ran to see her, and hugging her made me feel like a kid again. Susan, I've missed you so much. I've missed you too, Mia. But what's happened? Are you okay? Yes, I'm much better, but there's something I have to tell you now. Okay, what is it? Harper didn't steal your stories, Mia. I did. I felt like someone had punched me. It wasn't intentional, believe me. You remember how you always shared your stories with me over the years? When Harper was writing for that contest, she had writer's block and I gave her some ideas. I didn't realize those were all yours or that it would be such a big deal. But after you two fought, I realized what I'd done, but I just couldn't come clean. I didn't want to take away this amazing thing from my daughter, but I felt so awful for the pain I caused you, Mia. I am so sorry. Do you think you can ever forgive me? Oh, please, don't cry, Susan. I just need some time to process this, okay? I sat outside her hospital room, still trying to wrap my head around everything. Just then, Harper joined me. Mom just told me a week ago, Mia. I really had no idea, but we can fix this. I can announce publicly that some ideas were yours and you can be given due credit? No, Harper, slow down. It's okay. You know what? Your mom inspired me to write stories too. I'm sure so many of my ideas came from her. It kind of feels right that they came back to you. And I'm enjoying being part of Mom's business, and I'm glad you've done so well for yourself. I'm glad you're happy too, Mia. And about all those things I said, I didn't really mean them. Me neither. Forget about it. Can we be friends again? As long as you bring your mom along. I only tolerated you because of her.